Hi everyone, this is your chapter 1 vocabulary video. You will have a video like this for every chapter, but this one's kind of special because I'm going to show you how to navigate one of these vocabulary lists. So in your chapter 1 folder, there is a document, a Google Doc called Chapter 1 Required Vocabulary. When you open it up, it looks like this. The first thing that you should do is go up here to File, and you should make a copy. When you make a copy, that's the one you save to your Google Drive so that you can write all over it if you want to. This is what your typical vocab list looks like. It will sometimes be longer. This is the shortest one because it's the first one. I'm going to show you how to get through this. Obviously, on the right-hand side here are the meanings of the words. On the left-hand side, and sometimes here in the second column, you have Latin. Then you have another column, and finally the part of speech. So the first thing I'm going to do is pronounce the words for you, and then I'm going to explain how to look at these. So this first word right here is meus, mea, meum. Then canis, canis. Familia, familiae. Feles, felis. Frater, fratris. Mater, matris. Pater, patris. Yes, they all rhyme. Roma, romae. Soror, sororis. Villa, villi, or willa, willi. It does not matter if you pronounce the V as a V or a W as long as you do it the same all the time. In, est, and then you have habito, habitare, habitawi, and habitatus. That's the pronunciation of your words. Now, I want you to look at the parts of speech. You have an adjective, and when you have an adjective, you have 3 forms of the adjective, which will be explained to you later. So the name of this word in Latin is not meus, it's meus, mea, meum. Then you have a bunch of nouns. With the nouns, you see you have 2 Latin forms, like canis, canis, or like pater, patris. I'm not going to explain to you right now what those 2 forms are, but you need both of them to be able to remember the word. Again, everything's going to be open note, but you need to know what these are. This first one, think of it as first name, last name. So if your name is Tom Johnson, this is the Tom and this is the Johnson. The Tom tells something about you, and so does the Johnson. So both of these words tell something to you about this noun. Then you have a preposition. When you have a preposition, in this column, you won't have more Latin. You'll just have plus and then something called a case. We're going to learn about cases later on in this chapter when we get to grammar. Then you have est, which is a verb that just means is. And then you finally have another verb that means to live or inhabit. Habito, habitare, habitawi, habitatus. Those are called the principal parts. So 9 times out of 10, when you get a new verb, you're going to get principal parts. You will be responsible for knowing those principal parts and what they do, but I'm not going to tell you what they do right now. You will learn all of that later. Then finally, in this column, if you discount the meum right here, because that's a Latin form of the adjective, you have M and F and then a bunch of F's and M's all the way down. That's something called gender. In Latin, words have gender. Nouns have gender. In English, some nouns have gender too, like the word mailman is obviously masculine. The word actress is feminine. In English, the genders of our words are obvious. But in English, we think of a lot of things as neutral, like they don't have any gender at all. For example, a table. But in Latin, the word table is feminine. Now, I know this seems silly to you, but it's also true in Spanish and French and German and lots of other languages. Their nouns that we think of as not having gender still have gender. So when you learn a noun, you need to learn its gender. Some of them are obvious, like frater means brother. Obviously, it's masculine. Soror means sister. Obviously, that's feminine. But some of them aren't so obvious, like the word villa. which is house. Why is it feminine? There is no why, really. It just is feminine, and you have to remember that. So that's how you do the chapter 1 vocabulary. And that's how you will read every vocabulary list. And you will be asked about this on the vocabulary quiz, along with the chapter 1 derivative outline, which looks like this. Derivatives are English words that come from Latin words. Sometimes students have a hard time remembering that, but I'm going to help you out here. In your derivative outline, you have a bunch of boldface words. These words, canis canis, familia familiae, felus felus, these are your vocab words. These are Latin words, so canis canis is Latin. Then beneath them, you have underlined words, which are English words that come from those Latin words. So if I asked you what a derivative of familia is, it's family. If I ask you what a derivative of mater is, it's maternal. You will be asked about derivatives on your vocab quiz. I might ask you, what Latin word does the word patriarch come from? And your answer would be pater, patris. Again, that's what Latin word does the word patriarch come from? It would be pater, patris. Now that you know how to look at a derivative list and how to decipher a vocab list, you should make sure you have them available and take your Chapter 1 vocabulary quiz, which is a Google form in the Chapter 1 folder. Ask me any questions you have before you do that. Thank you.